Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Welcome to episode 101, and this is going to be the fantastic episode, the final one when we give away the Hundo Super Pack, that thing I've been talking about for 10 weeks, 10 episodes, Hundo Super Pack. I am Mike Mylan. That is Blaine Birch. You are listening to Mike and Blaine. What's up, my man?
Well, this is exciting. This is the first one after the big Hundo. We're well into the three figures now, man. Like 101. It's a big one.
Look at you. I mean, look at you. You haven't aged a day since we started this.
No, I've aged a year or two, but maybe not a day. I'll take it. Okay. I got to tell everyone here. Okay, I might not be completely sharp today because I'm on medication for a sinus infection. I was in bed for 3 days till today, but I feel so much better today. But if I start making no sense, that's how it is today. And at least I'll have something to blame it on this time.
Okay, so our regular listeners will go, well, it's just like when you drink a 10%er.
I know, and I got a light one today. It's 7, so it's not like super light. That's all right. And I got it's kind of funny because I knew we were recording this today, so I'm at the pharmacy yesterday, and I can barely stand. Everything hurts, and I'm exhausted. And the pharmacy hands me over my medication, and I look at her, and I say, she says, "Do you have any questions?" And I say, "Is it okay if I have a beer with this?" And she just goes, "Yeah, no, you're good." But like, she must be just wondering what the hell is wrong with this guy that he has to have a beer with his medication. But anyway.
Oh, I just figured that you guys even eat cereal with beer up in Canada. I just figured that's a thing. You're like, well, can I have? The very fact that you have to ask if you can have a beer is like surprising to me.
Well, I don't want to take medication, then basically flush it down the toilet because it didn't work. So I thought better check because I'm no doctor. Anyway, I'm good. I'm clear.
No, I'm just thinking that Canadians, they get milk, eggs, cheese, beer. It's like a staple of life.
Well, I would say not in that order. It'd be beer, eggs, milk, bacon, or whatever. At least we do. It's like beer right is the most important one. It's like I've been to the grocery store in 3 months, but I've been to the liquor store 5 times this week. So
yeah.
Anyway,
you know what I've never said? Oh my God, it popped in my head just now, and I've never said it during this podcast. And you're going to hate me as soon as I say it. It's take off, you hoser.
Oh, that's well. You know, you didn't totally blow it, so it like
I put it in. Yeah.
You didn't have the wrong emphasis, like you did. You know, you said it right. Like usually Americans lose it on the A. They overemphasize the A. Hey, take off hoser A. Or, they don't know how to work it in. It's not smooth. So you didn't try that. So that's good. I give you credit. It sounded almost legit there for a second. So that's good.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, one of my best friends is a Canadian.
Well, is that me? I hope.
Well, of course it's you. Like I said, you're the only person I've talked to this many times in a row and still enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. This is special for both of us. I get to talk with someone every week that's not my wife that'll actually sit down and talk with me. That's quite something.
All right. So what are you drinking? You said it was a 7%er. All right. So what are you drinking?
7%er. Okay. In honor of the topic today on free stuff and what we think about free stuff. And I just think giving away free stuff, it's just a party trick. It's all it is.
Yeah.
So I went with Alesmith Party Tricks IPA. And I know this is a stretch. That was the only one I could find in the fridge that seemed sort of connected in any way that I could pull off. So,
all right. So speaking of free stuff, my sponsor today, right? Yet again, another sponsor for Mike. It's like 10-0, right? That's if we're keeping score. It's like 10-0 now.
I've had a couple, but I'm way behind. I'm way behind. It's been a long time since I had a beer sponsor. All you breweries out there.
So mine is from Larry Weinstein, CPA. He is a CPA out of Houston. And by the way, this guy knows more about cash flow than probably both of us. Larry Weinstein.
Nice.
So
And he knows a little bit about beer too.
he definitely does, because I tell you what, and I'm going to put it on him. He gave me a Kansas City brewery, right? Boulevard. I think I've had a Boulevard before, but not this one. Why? He found out a flaw in this show. Larry Weinstein pointed out a flaw. He goes, Blaine always does big beers. You kind of do the little ones. Meaning,
true.
Maybe I do like the 4 and 5 percenters and things like that. So he goes, this is 11.8 for you. So you're sick on medication. I'm drinking 11.8. Who knows where 101 is going to go? This could be a whole new leaf in our chapters here.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a nap. About 40 minutes from now, you won't even see us. We'll both be lying on the floor for a quick nap and hop back up. All right, let's finish this show off. Let's get her going.
All right. So my sponsor, Larry Weinstein, CPA. If you're looking for a cash flow sponsor, if you're looking for a cash flow CPA, somebody that can help you improve cash flow, put more money in your pocket, go to Larry Weinstein in Houston.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. So, all right. So, again, we kind of alluded to today's topic of free stuff, right? Free stuff, giving away free. And what we're saying is that good or is that bad? And on the topic, do you think it's now? Do we do it now? Do we just get it out of the way?
Like we've been teasing on this for weeks.
Yeah, 10 weeks. All right. So, speaking of free stuff, before we debate whether or not it's a good thing to give away free or a bad thing to give away free, we have the Hundo Super Pack, right? We have been collecting your comments for 10 weeks now. 10 whole weeks, collecting comments, putting them in a huge Google sheet that I'm telling you, Blaine, he goes, oh my God, there's so many places to look. I got YouTube, I got LinkedIn, I got Facebook, I got, my stuff, your stuff, everybody that comments. Some people text, and we have to remember that and put it in the spreadsheet. So there's so many different ways that you could have entered this, that what we accidentally did was created a really massive task for us.
It was a bit of a chore, to be honest, to go through everything.
Where do I look next for this hidden treasure of an entry? So we put all of that together. And what I want to do is have intern Chad maybe pick it out. What do you think? We've been teasing.
Great idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
So pop her in and let the
before we do that,
even artificial.
Hey, before we do that, let's tell people what they get, right? The winner of this is again thing, 10 weeks we've been promoting this thing. I can't remember a time I promoted anything for 10 weeks.
No. Well, I'm promoting Dryer and you're promoting Cashflow Mike, but that's
but I'm talking
that's
about
not the same.
Man,
Exactly. It just doesn't happen, right?
Doesn't happen. But the Hundo Super Pack has 3 months of dry run in it. It has an hour with Cashflow Mike in it. It has 3 books from the authors in it. It has Don't Be a Dumb Business Owner. It has Chronic. Is it Chronic?
Chronic Cash Flow.
And it has a 7-minute conversation. Those 3 books. It has a T-shirt from the Mike and Blaine podcast. This one, the Business Beer and BS, the ones with the 2 skeleton heads.
With the 2 skulls. Gotta have that one.
2 skulls, right? And it comes with the coffee mug. So the Hundo Super Pack is loaded.
It's pretty legit.
It's
I want that stuff.
Yeah. So whoever gets this, the biggest thing of all, the thing that's worth more than all of that, you get 4 episodes being a sponsor for $0 just because you're the winner. Just because Chad thought you were important enough to pull your name out.
Yeah. So you can promote your business. If you don't have a business, you can promote your backyard. We'll promote it. Say, my backyard is green and beautiful. All right. You get 4 weeks of it. So hopefully you got a business, because we want to help make you some business. But man, it's a big prize. Win and do what you got to do.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Chad open up the spreadsheet. And he has this randomizing, whatever hell he uses to randomize things. And we're going to wait. But before we make him pick, he has to chug a beer. What do you think?
Let's make him chug a beer.
Let's make him chug a beer. So, Chad, if you're ready, we're going to pour you a beer. And then I'm going to tell you to chug it. And then you'll draw for the winner of the Hundo Super Pack. So, Blaine, when you're ready, let Chad pour the beer.
Well, Riverside is not letting Chad pour a beer right now. So give me 1 second to try and get Riverside working here.
Hey, speaking of, I'm going to drink beer while he's waiting.
Yeah, well, and we just told you what podcast software we're using, and it is not liking me right now.
There it is.
Pouring a beer for Chad.
Okay, let it settle just a second. Settle. All right, Chad, you ready? Now, go. Chug. Draw. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wait a second. I saw the name that came up. Look at it.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I even know that guy, right? David Leary is the winner of the Hundo Super Pack. David, are you kidding me? Lives in Tucson, Arizona. David Leary is the winner of the Hundo Super Pack. Do you know him?
I know David. I don't. You know what? I got to say, probably one of the number one commenters was my sister. So sorry, Carmen, you didn't actually win, but I do know David, so that's really quite cool. And David, you just commented a couple weeks ago, so you got in right under the wire here. So,
dude, I mean, people like Neighbor Pat was in there several times. I mean, I was for certain Neighbor Pat was going to win.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I was pretty certain is we had some commenters like off of YouTube and stuff, and it was just like they're at something. I didn't even know who it was, so I was positive we were going to be like, and the winner is at, sending 44, like some weird, like I don't know who it is, but we'll try and figure out how to reach them. So we got lucky. It was an actual name this time. That's good.
All right, so David Leary, I mean, when I first met him, he was with Intuit, right? He was the apps whisperer, right? So he's pretty much one of the founding members of apps.com. So, I mean, he was, when I met him, he was the guy that you wanted to talk to and understand how they were putting together apps.com, the ecosystem around QuickBooks. And then now I think he's doing some stuff with podcasting. They had the Cloud Accounting Podcast, and now it's they changed the name. It's like Accountants Podcast or something like that. They just changed the name. They have a thing called My CPE or whatever it is. But man, there's so much stuff that David Leary has put his fingerprint on that I'm excited. I'm surprised and excited that he won our Hundo Super Pack.
Yeah, that is exciting. And we saw, like, as we were compiling this list, and we're like, oh, there's so many people that are interesting people that are in our industry and that. And so one of them won, and that's really exciting. So Dave, if you're listening, we're going to pack up all this stuff and we'll get it sent off to you. We'll have to get your t-shirt size. And
we got to get his address too. So we'll just reach out to you, and we're going to be asking for two things. What's your t-shirt size? What's your address?
Exactly. And then also what you want to promote. And so some pretty cool stuff. So that's
Should we invite him on? Should we invite him on too?
Sure.
Right. If he wants, he doesn't have to. You got to remember, this is a podcast that doesn't have a lot of guests, right? We don't do a lot of guests. We're more like talking heads on TV, but we don't have a lot of guests. But maybe David won't want to say anything. I probably can't talk about what he does or knows as better, or I can't do it as well as he can. No. So that's, well, anyway, we're going to reach out. That's awesome. That's really, really exciting. And it's also exciting, like I said, a person with a name and not a weird tag. So that's kind of cool. But that's exciting that we got past the Hundo Super Pack. We are in episode 101, and now we're marching off to the big, I don't know, 200, 500. What's the next big round number? What do you think? 250? Maybe 250.
250 sounds like a good round number for the next the two. Although I do have a can of beer that was the 5 Hundy. I almost used it the other day, so I gotta save. I don't want to save that beer for that long because it's an IPA. It probably won't last as well in the fridge that long. So, yeah.
I know. Yeah, with the exception, didn't you point out the most expensive beer in the world is from like the 1500s?
Oh yeah, what was that? Oh yeah, but I'm a total beer nerd, which means I know that IPAs go downhill fast. Yeah, not where they go bad, but they actually lose a lot of their flavor real quick. So anyway.
All right, so let's talk about free because we just gave away stuff for free, right? Oh yeah, I mean, is it really free? Because an economist would say everything you do, there's a trade-off, right? There's nothing's ever for free. There's no free lunch in the world. What do you think about that?
I don't know if it's I can. There's stuff that's free. You just if you're receiving it, sometimes it's just straight up free. If you're giving it, it's never free. There's a cost attached to everything, right?
All right. Well, I mean, but if you're receiving it, in this case, didn't he have to do something? Comment on a video?
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah.
So there's always a trade-off. There's always a cost. I mean, think about it. For me, it started off in like 2000. I can go back before that because sometimes to sell floor services in my first janitorial company, right, where I had my cleaning contract. I would just come in, empty your trash, vacuum the floors, dust, basic stuff. But then I found some guys that knew how to do floors, wax, strip and put new stuff on, or shine your marble, right, with diamond pads. Mm-hmm. Well, when you get to that, you're like, oh, how do I get people to trust you to strip all the wax off the floor currently and relay it?
Yep.
So we'd test it. We'd give it out a little bit. We'd like going, hey, let me come in and just do the lobby. If you like that, we'll do the rest of it. So I would give that away as a lead generation, and it actually led to us having a pretty good floor business on top of the janitorial business. What do you think of that? As lead generation is maybe a good way to do it.
Yeah. Like I think it's way more effective when there's a really direct outcome, and that's a super direct outcome because it's like you can figure out, excuse me, fairly quick what kind of conversion rate you have, and it's just a direct line to business, right? The other side of free stuff where it gets more and more, I don't know, trickier to quantify. You're like me pre-COVID. You're at how many conferences a year? How many trade shows a year? And how much stuff was given out at these trade shows? And it's like, the last day when they're packing up, everyone doesn't want to pack their crap home. So they're trying to give all their shirts and socks and everything away to everybody else. And you're like, I don't need any more crappy shirts and socks or whatever. But does that ever actually, like, I guess you can't quantify it, but does it ever actually turn into money? Like where what you were doing was like, this is a direct line. I'm getting like a good chunk of these. We're just giving away swag. I don't know. Does that really have any impact?
All right. So you're saying, all right, what I think you're saying is there's a direct, way to give out free stuff, and there's an indirect, right? Indirect is the one that's harder to quantify. But if you let's look at Costco, or Sam's, right? They're always giving out free samples of something. Always giving it out. Don't you think they can track how many boxes are bought in a specific time frame? Which means, hey, come have our pizza roll. And I have a pizza roll. I'm like, hey, throw a box in there. There's probably a way for them to connect that free pizza roll to
for sure.
the shopping cart, right? It's probably a way.
That's very much like your buffing floors. It's a direct line. Buff floor, get more floor buffing job from that specific. Yeah. So I think it's exactly the same thing. It's like this product you test and we can see, does it actually have a bump? But we're talking more where it's free stuff not directly connected to a product. I guess it's that swag that's more of a promotional branded products, but it's not actually, you're not testing something. You're not actually like us. Like we have a free trial of Dry Run. So you get to come in and try it. And then there's a percentage of people that will buy it, right? Like that's just, and we know direct line. Way less direct line when we're at a conference and you're giving away like, you know, we did a draw for some t-shirts and we got this stuff and we got that stuff. We've done all the like giveaway stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. Did we ever make a dime off of it? Maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah. Brand awareness is the hardest thing to measure, right?
Yeah.
You know, because they see you. And we talked in the past about if you go to one trade show, you pretty much have to go year after year after year, or else they think
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, or else they think you're out of business, right? Because they didn't see you again. So I like using free stuff to show expertise. That's what I think the free trial does, right? Which is, hey, I'm so confident in what I have. Come look at it. Yep. Or in my case, I'm so confident in the way we strip and wax floors. Come look at it. Let me show you, right?
Yeah.
Showing expertise is a great way to give your product away for free, but don't give it all up, right? You just like, you know, like, oh, hey, I'll just do this little room, right? Maybe your break room. I'll do the break room, see if you like it. If you like it, you might want a public area that everybody else sees.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the tricky part, but that to me just feels like it's, you can quantify it. It helps a lot when you can quantify free, like you're doing something for free. You're not doing it free. Always costs you. That's the thing. It's always costs you. So someone's getting it for free, but when you can draw a straight line, it's got to be so much easier to do that because you can see an outcome, right? But the other side of it is like you said, building this brand awareness is important. And how far does that stuff go? It's hard to quantify, but man, it has an impact. It's just hard to quantify. And I don't care if you're $1 billion business, hard to quantify.
Well, because there's an opposite school of thought to free, which is if it's free, it doesn't hold any value, right? It's not worth anything. Why would you give it away for free if it was worth anything to you?
Yeah.
So that's the other side of the coin. So when you give away a free trial, you're actually limited to scope and to time.
Yeah.
But do people really take stock in that? Is it valuable during that free trial?
Yeah, I think it has to be
the argument I was in software. That was the argument I was in. Do people really value a free trial?
Well, and like the thing is like across, it would be harder for us to quantify as a single business, but across the industry, they have data. And so, and some of the latest, I can't remember the exact numbers, but I know some of the latest data I saw from across quite a number of businesses, and they also categorize them into size of SaaS company and like revenue per year and all of that. And they can say like, here is, if you have a free trial, here's your conversion rate versus if you have no free trial, like it's a paid, here's a conversion rate. Well, the conversion rate for a paid is through the roof compared to a free trial, but the number of units is so much lower that in the end, on average, the free trial makes you more money because of just a higher volume. But it's not all the same. It's not all the same for every single product. Some products can benefit greatly from never giving away a free trial. And, you know, I look at, like you see, just going not just from free, but discount products. And you can see in just virtually any sort of consumer area, there's products that never, ever, ever discount. And there's a different view of that product. And I think actually in the end, they potentially can be a lot more profitable, but it's the expectation is you're not always going and looking for the deal. You're not always looking for free. Like Apple's a great example. They virtually never discount until it's like, oh, we got 3 units left. And here's 1% off, get lost. Right. And you know, it makes a difference.
All right. So here's the worst free trial I've had yet. All right. Cause think about it. You can do amount of days. I don't care if it's 7, 14, 30 or whatever. And you got to kind of dial that into what's appropriate. But there's a new way of looking at it is like number of credits. So give you a certain amount of credits to do something. And the one that disappointed me the most this month was AI images. I'm like, all right, I'll do the free trial. And they say, you get 3 credits. Well, hell, what I know about AI now is that sometimes it takes me 5 questions to get one thing that I want, right?
Yeah.
Well, every question in here produces a different image. So in 3, I couldn't get what I wanted. I'm like going, well, I can't get what I want in 3 tries. So I'm not going to continue with the trial.
Yeah. And I think there's that risk of disappointing people. And because you put too big of boundaries or too big of walls on that free trial, and it really can disappoint people. I don't know. Is that actually working for you?
I mean, that one would have been better if it was like you have 7 days, right? Because I can understand in AI images, you don't want to give somebody a month because they'll produce 10,000 images. Like they'll never need you again, right? So, but 3 tries, like 3 questions. I didn't like any of the images in 3 tries.
That's the other big risk. Like if they can't prove the value, then you're gone. You're long gone, right? Like they have to be confident that you're going to see the value in that little term, right?
Yep. I would think so. So, you know, at Finnegraph, we debated this early on about, do we give something away for free, or there's this notion of freemium, which is I'm going to give you all the cool stuff for a limited amount of time, but then you can still have a free product. It's just not going to be as good.
Yes. Yeah. And we've, of course, looked at that as well. And there's data across the industry on what works and what doesn't. But for us, then we started to look and realize, freemium probably like we made the determination. It just doesn't make sense for us because we're not a B2C. We're not a consumer product. And, the businesses that we target are larger businesses. They don't really value freemium. Like they don't really care that they're willing to spend the money. No, so it's
And what normally happens is with freemium, you withhold your most coveted, valued feature, right? So all you really do is piss people off, which means, oh man, I only want to do that one thing, and you're not going to even let me do it on the free product. So yeah.
And I think we found that it's just not our customer base. Our customer base is, this is great. I'll pay for it. Like it's just, they're not concerned about, they're more concerned about their time and effectiveness. And the free trial is part of it is, we're not asking for more of your time and complications and credit cards and stuff. Just get in, let's show you it. If it works for you, we know you're going to buy. And, that's where really, truly trying to know and understand your customer, your ideal customer, not anyone with a face customer, your ideal customer, and figure out what drives them and how can you help them to that point of making a decision.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of free stuff, Cashflow Mike and Dry Run both have something free for you right now, right? I have a free hidden cash call, which means you and I sit on a call for 30 minutes and I find hidden cash in your company. Guaranteed I'm going to find $20,000 or more, or I work for you for free until I do. And your free trial is?
Well, free trial with Dry Run, literally you come in, you plug in your accounting software, QBO, Xero, whatever. We will take the data in and we're going to show you what's happening to your cash flow, how long your cash is going to last, who owes you money, who can you collect from today. And most important, most of our customers struggle with having really lumpy cash flow and sales pipelines. Get that sales data in, and we're going to show you where you're losing money ahead of time, over the next 6 months, over the next year, where you're going to have some slow points where you have to backfill and get some sales in there. And we're going to make you a pile of money over the year by showing you that and equipping you to take action. Yeah, so come check us out at dryrun.com.
Absolutely.
Sneak that
in. Go to dryrun.com, start your free trial. Go to Cashflow Mike, click on book a hidden cash call. Either way, it's going to be free to you and you're going to get value the very first time you talk to us.
Yeah. And I just got to do a little plug here. If any of you guys are going to South by Southwest next year, go over to the panel picker and look up Mike and I, because we actually presented. We want to do a presentation at South by Southwest where we're going to help businesses find that hidden cash, and vote for us.
Hey, I'm getting ready to submit us also to Scaling New Heights next year. So
Nice.
if you're talking to anybody in all of these conferences and you want to hear two people talk about ways that you can put more cash in your pocket, put us on the panels, put us in the breakouts, put us in whatever you can to, help yourself out.
Exactly. All practical stuff here. That's what we like to cover. It's practical. It's actionable. It's not wishful thinking stuff.
All right. So free. Here's one of the things I don't like about free. Because I'm good with it in a lot of things, but here's one of the things I don't like. Sometimes it attracts the wrong customer.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to get out of my software phase and I'm going to go back to the restaurant phase. There was a point in time, there was a series of months and days where people would do like, hey, free wings during happy hour. Right? I'd have a buffet station. You can just go get as many wings as you want.
Yep.
Well, those damn wings cost me 25 cents a piece.
Oh, yeah. Ouch.
So I'd have people just come in off the street and, drink water, eat wings. Seriously.
Oh, that's brutal.
Right?
That's brutal.
So we had to put in a 2-drink minimum, right? If you've ever seen that, that's what happens is that people are taking advantage of the free thing. You're like, well, wait a second. I can't just lose money every time I do this. So they put in a 2-drink minimum. So I at least get something for the wings, right?
Yeah.
It's a loss leader because you're hoping somebody comes in there and not only has 2 drinks, they have more than 2 drinks. Or they go, oh, I also want the sandwich, or I want the steak, or I want the pasta. I want something else. It wasn't happening right off the bat, man. I knew in the first 2-3 months, I'm like going, this is attracting people I don't know. And the people I don't know don't spend money.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good that you can see that. You can see it soon enough and see the dollars and everything, because that's the worst. We'll go right back to my comment a few weeks ago, like shitty customers. There's shitty clients out there, and you just pointed that out. If they don't spend any money, I can't even call them a shitty client because they're not even a customer if they're not spending money.
Right, dude. I've had comments on like Facebook and all that going scam. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Right, and I look it up. I'm going, we've never even done business, and you're calling my stuff a scam. Who are you? Right? It's the worst thing in the world. But I mean that you lose money on people that are only there for themselves. Only there for themselves.
Yeah. And I got like, oh man, it's funny. How many breweries have I gone into? First time in a brewery, I'm looking at their list and I'm like, oh, okay, I've never been here before. You got any suggestions? Da, da, da. And then they would you like to try this one or that one? I actually I feel like, no, just give me a pint. Like I'll pay for it. Yeah. So I don't need a free sample. I will pay for that pint. I'm taking a chance. I trust you. Like, cause I actually, and I know it's like a little taster is fine. Every once in a while, like, yeah, okay, I'll taste it. But rarely, because mostly and it's part of the conversation, mostly I'm just like, no, I'll pay for my beer. That's how I feel. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And by the way, Larry, I did not like what you did to me because I'm already kind of feeling this one.
Well, it's because you're already through the whole bottle.
Larry Weinstein. All right. Speaking of free, I'm gonna tell you a joke. It's a joke. Don't anybody get offended. Don't be commenting. You cannot win the Hundo Super Pack, so don't comment. But he goes, but he says, Mike, you know what CPA stands for? Certified Public Accountant. And that's what I told him, certified public accountant. He goes, no, it's cheapest people in America. It's a joke. It's a joke, people. Don't be freaking out. It's a joke. But it was funny, right?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, and maybe some people they wear that as a point of pride too, right? They like to be cost effective.
Yeah, of course. They're cost cutters, they're expense control, they're your controllers, they're doing those type of things. But I thought it was a cool way to translate CPA into regular language.
Yeah. And I will say, Larry, you are not one of them because that's a nice beer you bought, Mike. So that's
Yeah.
a good
Oh,
one.
oh, this wasn't the only one. I just happened to drink all the other ones before this podcast. So 2 weeks ago, we got together, right? I had an in-person, master training or whatever, master training here in San Antonio. Larry drove over. I had people come from Baltimore. I had people come from North Carolina. Some other folks from Austin come down. But Larry brought with him a cooler of cool beers, awesome beers.
Nice.
And for 3 days, we drank them. We drank so many of them. He had so many more. He says, just take them with you. It took me 2 weeks. This happened 2 weeks ago, and I still have 2 for the podcast. That's how many
Nice.
beers he gave me.
Nice. That's good stuff, man. That's
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous now. Like I'm not getting much free beer up here. People from Alberta.
Yeah. Is there a way we can find a neighbor Pat or Larry or a Breger right there in your neighborhood? Is there one? Is there a way? Can we get it? Can we cultivate it?
Nobody here makes beer in the neighborhood. Like if I turn my porch lights on, they come wandering over with their own beer. So that's kind of a little walking over, which is cool. But
Hey, what if we speaking of free, what if we give one of your local breweries a free plug on here, right? Like their own free thing. They can even come on and talk about their own stuff. What do you think? Could you find one if you offered that?
I'll start offering it. We bike to a bunch of breweries every weekend. I'm just going to start offering it. Now, the tricky part, then this is the tricky part though, is the people that you meet in the brewery on the weekends and everything. They're not the owners of the brewery. They're not. They're the taproom staff. And so I don't know if they can generally commit to that. And then it starts going like, well, can you get up the chain and everything? So I think I've got to get a little bit further in to the right people that are maybe interested in getting that kind of promotion. So, but man, they should, because man, like for all the beer we buy every weekend at all these breweries that,
All right. So what's the worst thing you've ever given away for free? You go, oh my God, I can't believe we did that after the fact. And I'm saying after the fact.
After the fact, we have not given away a lot of free stuff. I got to flip it around because I can't actually think of something that we gave away that really regretted. I got to flip it around because a story that popped into my head was we were at a conference one time and we gave away, we drew for some t-shirts and I can't even remember what the t-shirts were on them, but they were cool shirts. I remember they were cool. I can't even remember what was on them. And we had buttons, like little itty bitty buttons, and they had all these cool phrases like robots can't and before shit gets real. That was a really big one. Everyone wanted little before shit gets real buttons and stickers. We had stickers too. I can't remember what else we had, but I do remember later on, like a couple of days later, we saw on Twitter someone had posted a picture and it was in Calgary, because I remember she had a cowboy hat on and was wearing a dry run t-shirt, and she had all this dry run swag and stickers and buttons and stuff. And it was so cool to see. It was just so fun to see, because we never asked for that or anything. She just thought it was cool and posted it. And that's where free, I think, can be so effective when it's tied with relationships and people really buy and dig what you're doing and stuff. And I think, I don't even know if I don't know who this person was. I think maybe one of my staff had probably run into her, and there was probably some relationship building. So I think it can be really effective. I can't really think of something for free that I gave away that was I don't know. We maybe didn't give away free stuff very often. I don't know.
All right. How about this? All right. Here's mine. You tell me if you've ever done something this dumb. Right. This is dumb. In order to secure a big contract, I gave away tickets to a huge UFC or MMA fight. It cost me thousands that turned out to give me nothing.
Ooh. Okay. Ouch. Yeah.
Right?
That hurt. Yeah.
It was just like it took the tickets, but had no intention of actually doing business.
That's shitty on,
Well,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But that happens. That's why we have like
Yep.
a slow trigger to these things. You're like, oh yeah, just do that, do that. No, I mean when you do something special, you know, you can't be quid pro quo. Like I do this, you do that. We kind of hope that when I make that decision, I made it on the fact that we're going to do something in the future.
Yeah, and you know, it's
Hey, and the guy ran up my bar bill, and I mean, he just absolutely destroyed me that day. And that was about 15 years ago, and I learned a lot about business that day, that night.
yeah, and I think that's the thing is that I'd be more prone at this point in my life, I think, to kind of reward and build relationship. Like building relationships is one thing, but reward customers, people that they've already become a customer, rather than I hope this puts it over the edge. Because for me, like with dry run, it's like, no, our product is good. It's really good. But after they become a customer, I remember the sort of sticks out in this sort of way. The first time I bought a BMW was about 20 years ago, something like that. And I was young, and I remember being in the shop or in the dealership, and I was buying a car, and it was a couple of years old, and I had to deal with the salesman, and I'm like, okay, that's a deal, not a dime more. That's the deal. Then I got to the person in the back room, and they tried to add on $300 for something. And for the life of me, I can't remember what the $300 was for. I'm like, no, we had a deal.
Yeah.
And we sat there across that table. My wife still laughs about that because like this, like I love that car, love the color. It was a unique color, all this kind of stuff. We had a deal, and I wasn't giving in.
Yeah.
And
I said yes out there. You can't come in here and throw some more stuff on me.
You can't do that. It was, and anyway, I wouldn't relent. Right. And so they finally like dropped like whatever the $300 or whatever it was. And like, okay, good to go. But what was interesting is it was kind of all business. As soon as I signed the contract and the deal was over, that's when you expect they all leave. Yeah. But it's the opposite with them. It was like, oh my God, thank God the deal's done. And now they're all our friends. Like they were just like, oh my God, welcome to, and that was the thing is that it was, and I kind of respect that now that in the deal part, they knew they were offering what they were offering. I wasn't really happy with how I felt they tried to slip something under the whatever to me. But once it was done, you were now sort of part of the family. And that was way better than, hey, you're all part of the family. And as soon as you buy it, they turn their nose, like they walk away and screw you. And that was like, I thought a really good lesson in business is like, that's how you get repeat business. I had bought a product from them. I'm now a customer, and they treated me like that. And my salesman from 20-ish years ago, Bill, I saw him the other day. He is still there. It was unbelievable to walk in and he had to go talk with Bill. Like, it was just amazing.
Because people buy people. They don't buy products. I mean, we can get people buy people. That's what we do. Yep. Hey, by the way, I noticed that you and neighbor Pat were texting, and that was pretty cool. So, neighbor Pat, if after this episode, if you're around, come down. I still have some of your beer. He brought me 2 growlers. Let's share it. I'll give it back to you free.
Free and uncleaned.
Yeah. Well, no, he knows I always clean his growlers and give it back to him. I always do that. So, but that's funny. He goes, that was so funny. But people buy people. I mean, I always share the example of if you could buy the same car in this case in any direction, 2 miles, you can buy it. Northwest, southwest. or northwest, southwest. Damn this. Damn you, Larry. Northwest, southeast. And you can buy the same car, same feature, same color, and same price. Who do you choose? It's always the person. It's always the person. If you've been like me, you go on a car lot and the person that comes across, you make a split decision on who you're going to buy from. You're like, I don't like that guy.
Yep.
I don't know why. You can't really describe it, but there's something that happens that makes you choose a different path.
Yeah. Yeah. And and I've said this before in this show, like we tend to be regulars at places and not really intentionally. We like to try new places. Too often it's disappointing, but we try new places until we find the next one that will be semi-regular. And then we have the ones that were just regulars, and we don't plan it. It just works out that way. But it's interesting as some of our favorite places, like one of our favorite places, Rosso Pizzeria in Edmonton, and it's our absolute favorite place. We're there several times a week. And they've treated us so incredibly well. But it's not like they're trying to attract us with free stuff, but it's almost like, hey, they value us, and because we've developed relationships with people there. We trust them. We love them. They're just fantastic, but they also sort of, they send that back to us too. Right. And that's where I think it's so important is it's giving away something for free in hopes and a prayer. I just don't think it goes as far as reward your customers that love you. Right.
All right. So let me ask you this though. One of the biggest arguments against free stuff is it devalues your real product. Right? I mean, they're going, well, if it's for free, it's not worth anything. What do you think about that?
Well, and I think that's really true. And that's why we don't go anywhere near freemium, because that's a permanent free product. A trial is, you can't do anything in dry run for like it's a long-term years. You're using it all the time. A trial is, hey, we trust our product enough so you can actually test it out and see if it works for you. Like we trust it enough, but if it does, it's not free. Right. And so and I think that there is always, we've talked about that before, like you put discounts on, you're devaluing the product. No, we know we have a good product. And I think there is a kind of a reaction, like a mindset. When you see something free, it's you expect it to stay free. If you see it discounted, you always want it discounted. You're always looking for a coupon code. You're always, I think it just changes. And that's what I was saying with premium products. And it can be in any sort of sector or channel or anything. Some of them just never, ever discount. And there's a point where it's like, not only do I respect it, kind of in a way, I kind of appreciate it, because I don't ever feel like I'm paying too much, because that's just what it is. Right.
Well, I think most business owners, they're going to test their price. What can I get? Where do people buy? Where don't they buy? I'm in that position, right? I mean, I started doing cash flow mic stuff in January of this year, full time.
Yeah.
And I've been testing price, and I kind of went up, down. I've tested promo codes. It's starting to level out, like going, this is the amount of business I like. It's the price I think you get the best value. It's going to be there, right? Yep. So if you see a promo code for my stuff, you should use it, because it's not going to be lower than that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the other side of it is you have to test these things out. Like the other thing I would say is, don't dismiss something out of hand. Like test it out. Like consider your ideal customers, consider what they're like, consider what you're trying to prove to them, how you're trying to help them. There's all these things that you have to look through, but at some point you just kind of go, well, let's just try it and see, do they react well to it or don't they? And that's what we found with dry run is there's some things we found seems to work really well, some things that don't. And you live and learn, right?
Do you ever test new features with people for free? Like going, hey, try this out and let me know what you think before we put in the product.
We are always testing with our customers and with users. Beta testing before we release, shortly after we release. Like, we're still asking for feedback. But we don't release something and then you have to pay for it, but it may be in a level that if you want that feature, you may have to upgrade if you're on a lower level sort of thing. So there's some of that, but for the most part, it's not just a pay to play a la carte. We just don't have that sort of model.
Yeah. So, all right. So what did we learn today? I mean, because we said free, good or bad. So I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. Is there something we can make a decision with?
Well, I would say just be cautious and test it out on low risk, low money. Just try it first and see if it actually works for you, and really take a close look at your market and understand them as much as you can, because I think is at times it can be somewhat effective. Like for us, I think if we didn't have a free trial, like, I don't know, maybe we would, I don't know if it would make a difference. But we think just a free trial makes sense, not a freemium model. Right. But you only know at some points of trying, but you don't want to also I just spent a few $1,000 to send someone to a UFC fight and they ghosted me. Like, that's brutal,
Yeah. Well, so that's why now I take on the philosophy of test then invest, which means what's the minimum amount I can test this at where I get enough data where I can make another decision, right? So it's test and invest. And I think that's what's helped me determine what's free and what's not. Because I give away free stuff all the time. I'm giving away free half hours now, but I've tested enough to know that when you see the value, you're going to do something else that converts to cash to me.
Well, and I think that's the other important thing that we talked about is some of these examples work really well when it's a direct line. Yeah. Like you're buffing the floor and they want to buy more floors. For us, it's a free trial that goes a straight line into, we know they need that product. Otherwise, they wouldn't bother with a free trial. There's no appeal. Yep. And it moves straight into a purchase. That's much different than tickets to this, T-shirt for that, right?
Yep. Yeah. T-shirts on the table don't always equate to the same amount of dollars in sales.
Yeah, exactly. That's
all right. So I'm going to thank Larry Weinstein, and I'm going to cuss him at the same time for sending me an 11.8 beer, because look at me now. But anyway, what I think I learned was, hey, freemium is something, or free is something that you can use to your advantage. Know how to do that.
Just be careful and test.
Be careful. And Hundo Super Pack, who won it? Who won?
David Leary, who we know. that's pretty exciting, actually. When you first said David Leary, I'm like, hey, I know a guy named David Leary. But that's super cool. So we'll be in, Dave, if you're listening, still listening, we'll be in touch. And for everyone else that commented and was part of the draw, thank you so much. And blame Chad. I'm pretty proud we made it to the end of the episode. Time it out. We're time it out. See you guys. Oh, make sure you follow us. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.